One of the hardest things to explain in our field, this isn't even a hard one. Broker non-votes. Today on Zippy Point.
Quick Zips by Zippy Point.
Quick and dirty.
I'm Broc and I'm a big fan of yous. When I was taping my Vid-Guide about voting standards, a link to that is beneath this video, I took 4 stabs at explaining broker non-votes. I got so frustrated, I put it off for another day. Today is that day. Here are 3 things to know. So let's try this. Why do you need to know what a broker non-vote is? Reason number 1. Well, if you're going to be handling annual meeting stuff at all, you're going to have to know this for 2 SEC disclosure purposes. First, you'll have to describe how broker non-votes will be treated for each item on your annual shareholder meetings ballot in your proxy. That's required in your voting section. Second, when you file your Form 8K on item 507 within 4 business days of holding the meeting to announce the voting results, you'll need to disclose how many broker non-votes were actually cast for each item on the ballot. But the truth is, you can still probably get away with not really knowing what broker non-votes are a little bit and handle this disclosure if you're cutting and pasting from last year's proxy, albeit risky to be disclosing something you don't know. So if you're doing this, you're reporting your meeting results on the 8K based on the tabulator's report, and you're flying in the wind. Reason number 2, the practical and potentially important reason why you should love broker non-votes is a proxy plumbing fiction that the company may well need in order to reach quorum. This fiction is why the ratification of independent auditors is on nearly every company's ballot, even though it's not required. The audit committee has the sole authority to hire and fire the independent auditors. The SEC rules nor the stock exchange listing standards, they both don't require companies to seek ratification. Investors nor proxy advisors are clamoring for it necessarily either. Maybe they would object if it was taken off the ballot, but maybe not, particularly if you show them that you've received full-throated ratification for your auditors over the past few decades. You see, when ratification is on the ballot, it hovers around unanimous support. It's almost always over 90%. Only about a dozen companies find themselves with less than 80% per year. And that's in an era where investors increasingly are concerned about lengthy auditor tenure. So why do companies place ratification on the ballot? Because it's one of the few items they can place on the ballot and obtain a lot of broker non-votes to ensure they reach quorum. Plain and simple. Okay, so now you understand this quirk in our area of the world, but that still doesn't explain what broker non-votes are. Reason number 3, because you love this stuff and want to be in the top of your class. Really? You truly want to know? You're a glutton for punishment. Let's see if I can break down this explanation into 5 steps. 1, when it comes to your stock, there's a legal web of layered ownership. A whole lot of stock in all companies is held in street name, also known as beneficial ownership, meaning that your broker and probably even entities layered above them are deemed the record holders. Record holders vote on proxy cards. Beneficial owners vote on voting instruction forms, otherwise known as VIFs, on which the beneficial owners instruct the record holders how they want the record holders to vote their VIFs. In substance, proxy cards and VIFs look nearly identical. So I've already told you some things that you may not need to know for this exercise, but that's how proxy plumbing is. Complex and complicated. 2, the New York Stock Exchange regulates broker-dealers. So NYSE Rule 452 permits brokers to vote on routine matters, the defined term, if they don't receive back instructions from their clients. This is known as broker discretionary voting. This rule is applicable to all brokers registered with the NYSE, regardless of which exchange the company's stock is traded on. So it doesn't matter if the company is listed on the NYSE or NASDAQ, brokers are regulated by the New York Stock Exchange, and this rule applies to all the brokers. So if you own stock and your broker is Schwab, you received a VIF to vote and you didn't return it, Schwab can cast what would have been your vote for the routine matters on the ballot. Hope you got it. 3, I'm throwing this one in here just so you learn who Broadridge is. It's sort of like a halftime show. Broadridge is the agent for all the brokers hired by nearly every broker on the street out there to be the entity that handles the real mechanics of delivering proxy materials to you, which includes the VIF on which you'll vote. And then Broadridge collects the VIFs back so that they can be counted at the annual shareholders meeting. So Broadridge is a big player in the mechanics of how all this works. But you didn't really need to know that for understanding broker non-votes. 4, now you need to understand what is a routine matter that's on the ballot. The New York Stock Exchange has been narrowing down the definition of what is routine over the years by expanding the list of what is not routine. And so that today, routine matters have been limited essentially to the ratification of auditors. Is it starting to click in? Hopefully. 5, so if a beneficial owner doesn't return their VIF or leaves the ratification of auditors on the VIF blank, that beneficial owner's broker can return the VIF, and if it leaves that routine matter blank, meaning that the broker is not checking the box on the ratification of auditor's proposal, it's blank, this is called a broker non-vote. You've got it. The broker had the authority to cast a vote on that routine matter, but didn't. But they still returned the VIF. That's a big deal. Because in most states, you look to the state law in which your company is incorporated, a broker non-vote may be counted for determining whether a quorum is present. And you need quorum so that the annual shareholders meeting is considered a legal meeting so that the meeting can actually be held. Believe it or not, sometimes it's a close call and you wouldn't have made quorum without the broker non-votes. Incredible to think of, but it's true, a fact. A lot of people throw their proxy materials in the trash as soon as they arrive in the postal mail. They ignore the emails urging them to vote online. So there's a whole lot of votes not cast at shareholders meetings that could have been. So there you have it. You asked for it. Now you know. Please don't tell anyone if you want to be number one in your class.